Hello. My name is Michelle. I am 51 years old and I am all about managing my money better so that I can make sure my spending is in alignment with what I really want to be doing in life, aka my values. So this little pen, look how cute this pen is, y'all. I was trying to do the microphone like here, but to me it wasn't, I don't think it was sounding like is clear, so hopefully this is a little better. If you can hear my dryer in the background, sorry, but I'm definitely multitasking. So I found this cute little pen at my favorite store, which is Dollar Tree. All right, so let's do the check-in. June was a little spendy. Like, I feel like I was kind of all over the place. It really brought to light what I really need to figure out ASAP. So that's my goal for July, which is my actual tracking system. But let me talk to you all about, I'm a paper pencil girly, so I got my paper right here. So this check-in, weekly check-in, is for week 4. So it's going to be from Friday, June 19th to Monday, June 29th. And so part of what I've started doing is kind of tweaking the check-in dates to actually match real life, which means I ended this budget on the 29th because my new budget started on the 30th, because I don't know why, but I guess I did not realize that my pension money, I didn't realize it comes on the last day of the month, not the first day of the month, which means then I kind of am closing out my budget like a day sooner than before. Okay, so here's my totals. Walmart, once again, gets its own total, or its own category rather, and I spent $51.91 at Walmart. And that's a combination of things. That is going to be food sometimes. It could be household, which could be anything from candles to dish detergent. It's just a variety of things. Dining out is $110.96. Higher than I would like it to be, but again, it was an interesting month. Food was $19.40. Hobbies was $22.55. I actually have started ordering stickers from one of my favorite YouTubers. The name of her channel is All Things Planned, and I'll link it down below so that you all can check it out if you're somebody who likes to budget with stickers. Her stuff is very reasonably priced. It's made beautifully. Like, it is so cool. It's the cutest stuff. And so you definitely should go check her out if you like to budget with stickers. Kind of just makes it a little bit more fun. And so that $22.55 was stickers that I'm going to use for my July budget, and then also in my August budget. Miscellaneous was $49.11, and that's literally anything that just didn't fall into another category. And then home decor, which starts with this chair that I'm sitting on. I'm really, kind of disgusted, y'all, because I got this chair, I ordered it off of Amazon, and the middle part is missing. So I'm actually sitting at the end, hoping that I don't flip this cushion up. And I have reached out to the company and told them, it's been literally about a week, and they're telling me they're investigating. So hopefully they're gonna send me the piece soon, because I sent them the picture, told them the piece that's missing. So hopefully this issue will be resolved soon. But home decor, I spent $91.57 because they allowed, Amazon has this new system, I don't know if you've tried it yet, where you can do things with payments, but there's no interest on it. And so I think this chair is about like $3 something. I think the total price was like $350. And so I'm able to break it down and do the payments. And so that's where that $91.57 comes from. And so my total for June 19th to June 29th is $345.50. Now, the more I budget, the more I realize that if you change your perspective about budgeting, it really is just transformative when it comes to your relationship with money and how you live your life, which means the purpose of my budget and the purpose of me checking in and seeing how much money I'm spending is really to just keep up with, is my spending in alignment with what I say is important to me? And in this season of life, my goal is to create like a cozy life, which means the goal is to actually spend money on things more than just survival stuff. Meaning, I want to spend money more on, hobbies and self-care and travel. And so if my spending is aligning with that, then I feel like I'm doing well. Also, the fact that I even know what I'm spending or have an estimate of what I'm spending is a big deal to me. And so I'm not so much like hard on myself with like, oh, did I go over budget? It's really just letting me know, seeing what did I spend money on that month, and can I increase in some areas, decrease in others? Am I being intentional with my spending and my choices? So for my June totals, fuel was $30.14. Food was $89.08. Household was $137.08. Office supplies was $3.75. Gifts was $65.93. Miscellaneous was $57.31. Dining out was $295.22. Walmart was $223.67. Travel was $96.03. Hobbies was $29.90. Self-care was $38, and then home decor is $91.57. So that totals $1,157.68. And when I really break that number down, I look at the fact that, okay, if my weekly budget is $200, that's $800 because it was a 4-week month. And then I also had budgeted $775 for travel. So technically for the month, I had budgeted $1,575. And so the cool thing is I was under budget $417.32. And so I think by breaking this down and looking at it in its totality, you can kind of see how you're doing. So even though on a week-to-week basis, it felt like, dad, girl, you were spending a lot of money on dining out or household, at the end of the day, I still came in under budget. And so I think that's what's important. For the upcoming month, I gotta get these systems together, y'all, when it comes to the tracking of the spending. And so I'm gonna really kind of think that through, because there's way too much friction. I know that my actual budgeting process, though, is working, because when I first started this, tracking my spending and budgeting and checking in, it used to take me, like when I closed out my budget at the end of the month, oh my gosh, y'all, it would take me like 2-3 hours because I didn't have systems. My stuff was all over the place. Now, it literally takes me less than 30 minutes to close out my budget because I have my systems and my routines in place. So my shift for July is really figuring out that in-between piece, which is the tracking of the daily spending and then those weekly check-ins. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna do that yet, but I will definitely keep y'all posted. So just as a quick recap, one, if you are simplifying the way you spend money, I think it makes it easier to keep track of it. So whether that's like me, where I just primarily use a debit card, every now and then I'll use cash, but overall I use a debit card. And then that way it's only 2 ways that I have to track: cash and then the actual debit card purchases. The second thing is, if you do weekly check-ins, it gives you a chance to kind of course correct or recalibrate, because you could still stay in budget or under budget if you have a spendy week and then the following week you're very intentional. My goal for the last week in June was to have a low spend week. That did not quite happen. But I'm thinking July, I don't have any major things planned, so I'm hoping to keep that budget really tight. And the other thing is, because July is going to be like really, really kind of a tight month anyway, only because this month I really am only working with like my pension money, which for the most part just covers my basic expenses. So like, because my supplemental work won't start back up again until August, and for the most part, in order to cover these last 2 months, May and June, I've had to dip into my sinking funds. I really don't have any extra money to kind of play around with. Oh, excuse me. So I'm thinking the budget's gonna be like pretty tight for July. Like, I mean, almost trying to stay within like under $100 a week, which is definitely going to require me to be like super intentional. I'm so crazy poking myself. Sorry, y'all. So yeah, so I hope that was helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you're tuning in. For my new subscribers, thank you. I hope you're finding some information that's helpful. Definitely want to give a shout out to all the people who are so sweet about watching my videos and commenting on my videos. I thank you so much. And I'm learning so much from everybody else, but I hope that you're following along. And my takeaways are track your spending. Even though it is scary, this is so much better than my previous approach to my money, which was kind of like putting my head in the sand like an ostrich and then just kind of crossing my fingers that I could make minimum payments on credit cards every month. So this is great. And as always, I'm excited to report that my wins are the fact that I am doing this all in cash, no debt, so the fact that like for the month of June, I spent over $1,000 and all of that was like cash / my debit card is amazing, because in the past, when I had a full-time job, before I was retired, I would be spending and just have no clue to what I was spending. So be encouraged, even if it feels overwhelming. Trust me, once you get into it, it just becomes so natural and it's not overwhelming, and you feel just so empowered and control of your money because you know what you're spending. And as long as your spending is aligning with what you're trying to do, that is the goal. So until later, be grateful. Bye-bye.